Hey, welcome back to Document Management with CrewTrax. This is video number 4, viewing field submitted documents, and I'm going to be doing this in the browser or the backend or Office view. If you want to view documents on the mobile app, take a look at video number 2. Even if you're not the guy filling it out, you're still going to look at documents in the app in the same way. So as far as viewing field submitted documents in the browser is concerned, it's pretty simple. First, let me look at this report that we've looked at in previous videos, and I'll just scroll down. And here's all my submitted documents. You can just click on it to view the document. Now I want to note that when you click on it, it's going to open usually in the browser that you're using to look at CrewTrax. So for example, down here we have all these signatures, but these other fields, signature fields, don't show up because my browser doesn't support them. If you open the document in Adobe, you'll get a lot more features and options. Those signature fields are available, and you can do everything that's possible to be done with a PDF. However, for the most case, viewing it in the browser is probably sufficient. So again, just click on the document and it'll open right up. So let's look at this plans document. Here it is. And I can scroll through and find my annotations. Now, one thing that I want to mention is that the annotations here in the browser view, they don't look great, at least on Chrome. It doesn't look so good. So again, I'm going to open this in Acrobat. And now if I scroll down and find those annotations, you'll see they look a lot better here in the Adobe product. So there's just a bunch of different ways to view PDFs, and the software that you use to view your PDF will determine how the document behaves. So over here, for example, here's my couldn't work in this area due to flooding. It's even colored the same color as the ink. Adobe really knows what they're doing with the PDF because they created the PDF. If I go back to the browser and take a look here, there it is. Couldn't work in this area due to flooding, but it's kind of hard to read when I'm viewing it in Chrome. So bottom line here is the behavior of the document will depend on what software you're using to view it, and we recommend using Adobe Acrobat Pro or Adobe Reader. So that's how you view individual documents submitted on individual days. Pretty simple. By the way, you can also click on the context and go to that place. So for example, if I click here, it'll take me to the folder for my organization documents. Or if I go back here, if I go down and click on the job, this plans document lives in the Green Oak Sidewalk job. If I click on that, it'll take me straight to the job. And right here in the job, you can also scroll down and find all the submitted documents for that particular job. And of course, that is also true of other contexts where documents can live. So if I go to Setup and then Equipment, I can look at this skid steer, for example. Here's the base document. I haven't submitted that document on any schedules, but if I did, all the submitted documents would appear here. So again, you can find individual documents either on the schedule where they were submitted or in the context where that document exists. So just browse to the context for the document that you're looking for to find individual submitted documents in that context. However, there is another, I would say, better, easier way to find submitted documents, and that is right here in Exports and then Submitted Documents. And I'm going to switch over to one of our customers who has been kind enough to be sort of our show and tell. And you can see I've already gotten started here, so let me just refresh the page to start over. And you've got all these options for exporting documents, including, check this out, this is very, very cool. Of course, you can export a pile of PDFs, right? Individual files that were submitted on different days by different people in different contexts. But you can also zero in on a certain document or a certain context and export that data as a CSV or as a spreadsheet. So let's try a couple examples. First, as a PDF, let's start with everything in April. So we'll go from April 1st to April 30th. Context is everything. The owner is everyone. There's 180 documents submitted in the month of April. Okay, well, let me see specifically organization documents. Okay, we're down to 92. Now, check this out. I can look at everything, crew, equipment, job, organization, or I can even say, give me a specific document. And let's say I want to look at in our organization documents, toolbox safety. Let's do this first one, avoiding moving parts. Okay, now we're down to 26 documents. And let's say for this particular toolbox talk, I want to see what Aaron did with these. Now we're down to 3. So you can use all of these filters to get down to the specific information you're looking for. For our example, I'm going to undo that last piece, and let's just see all of the times that this particular toolbox talk about avoiding moving parts was filled out for the whole company in the month of April. Looks like it was filled out 26 times. So now if I export as a PDF, and you also have this checkbox to include submitted documents from unfinished schedules, that means if it hasn't been submitted and approved yet, you can still include documents. But in this case, that didn't make a difference. Everything's been submitted and approved, so it's 26 either way. So if I click export, because I selected PDF, it's going to give me a whole bunch of PDFs. It says starting to process export, check alert area. So up here in the alert area, oh, I missed it. There's a progress bar that kind of goes across as the document's getting ready. You can see I've already done this a bunch of times. But once it's ready, you can click Export Ready on the most recent one. Or let me do it one more time, because this notification down here will change and say document export has completed. So I'll click View, and it's going to download a folder with those 26 documents inside. So if I open that up, open up Toolbox Safety, here are our 26 documents. And I can double click on any one of those. It'll open in my case, it opens in Adobe Acrobat Pro. And I can see there's the attendees, there's their signatures, looks great. Let me close that out. So I can open up any one of these documents and see this particular toolbox talk submitted on, and again, it's attached to the date here. The second number here is the schedule ID. So if I wanted to go look at that schedule in particular, I could find that. And by the way, let's just look at the file name real quick. So we have the date, the schedule ID, the name of the document, and then in parentheses, whatever they named that edited version of the document. Again, best practice is just leave the edit one. You don't necessarily have to give it a name like some of these guys have. For example, Brewster, I'm guessing that's someone's name. You'll be able to see in CrewTrax and also in the CSV export we're about to look at who filled this out. So you don't need everybody to put their name on it or a date. So he's got 4-9 Brewster. Well, we know it's 4-9. It's in the file name there. And you'll see in the CSV export, we can see that this guy Brewster filled it out as well. So again, file names, just leave it as edit one, but just wanted to give you kind of breakdown of what this file name ends up looking like by default out of CrewTrax. So there's the PDF export. Let's try CSV. So we've got all the same options. April, base document is avoiding moving parts. We're going to go with everybody, not a certain person. Export that, and this time I get a document I can open up in Excel. And I'm going to go ahead and extend those columns so we can see them all. And check it out. We've got the owner, the base document name, submitted document name, and then we have all the fields on that document. So if we go back and look at that document real quick, let's look at this one right here from April 8th. So I'll open that up here. I think this is the one I opened earlier. Okay, so here we have job site, meeting date, print name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the signatures. Signatures don't come through in the CSV export. Just doesn't work in a CSV document. You can't put a drawing like that in there. But here we go. April 8th, we've got the job site, the meeting date, and here's the names of the people that attended the meeting. And then of course in Excel you can do whatever you want with this data, right? So let's go ahead and sort it. Let's say I want to see the owner first, and then after that I want to see the date. Okay, so here's everything from Aaron. There's the 3 documents. If you remember when I narrowed down to Aaron for a minute there, CrewTrax told me there would have been 3 documents if I had chosen that export. So if I had chosen that option, I would only see these 3. But since I chose everyone, I'm getting Aaron, Brad, Chad, all of these, right? And by the way, here's that submitted document name, 4-9 Brewster. Well, we already knew it was Mr. Brewster here that filled out this document. So again, you can just train your people when they're saving a document in CrewTrax. They don't need to give it a new name. Just leave it as edit one. We've got the other information attached to it automatically. It's pretty slick. All right, so just a quick recap to clarify. Every row in this spreadsheet is a submitted document. So if you've got a document with a whole bunch of fields on it, it's just going to have a ton of columns because on April 11th, Curtis filled out this document. Here's all the fields he filled out. In fact, let's go back to the one where I had open on the 8th. Okay, we've got Curtis, Jesus, Carlos, Oscar, Pedro, and that's it. If we go back here, there it is, Curtis, Jesus, Carlos, Oscar, Pedro. If you had a document with a whole bunch of fields, I mean, you can have hundreds of fields on here. What you'd end up with is hundreds of columns here, which is fine. You can then narrow down if you need to, but it's just kind of cool. All this data that you put into a PDF, you can then aggregate into a spreadsheet and analyze a whole bunch of data at once because each row in this spreadsheet is a submission of the form and each column is one of the fields on that form. And this is where naming your documents is really important. And I'm going to touch on that in the next video. So if you're going to be setting up your own documents, make sure you watch video number 5 to see how to get the name of those fields set up correctly so that it makes sense when you export it as a CSV. By the way, the order of the fields matters a lot as well, the tab order. But again, that's in video 5, so check that one out. For now, I think this is about all I wanted to show you for viewing field submitted documents. It really is pretty simple. Just go to the context in which you want to view it, whether you want to see all the documents on a certain schedule, the documents attached to a piece of equipment or a crew or a job, or if you want to export a bunch of data all at once, whether it's a big pile of PDFs or a spreadsheet with a bunch of data from those PDFs that people have filled out, go to Exports, Submitted Documents, use all these filtering tools to zero in on the information you're looking for, and hit Export. You'll either get a folder full of PDFs or a spreadsheet full of data that comes from all of those PDFs. So that's it for viewing field submitted documents. Check out video number 5 for all of our advanced features. And as always, if we can help you, let us know. We'd love to help you out. All right, see you in video 5.